Good morning, friends, wherever you are, and welcome to today's cichlids and coffee. And it's a lot more than cichlids. Keep debating whether we should change the name since I've got so much other stuff going on. But welcome to Cichlids and Coffee. I hope you're having an excellent cup of brew like I am. And if I could get one of you to tell me how the AV is, the AV, audio visual, how are we looking there, folks? I'm looking at the comment for some kind of AV is good. Thank you, Denny. Appreciate that. Vibes Aquatics in the house. Hey, Vibes, Billy D is here. Hey, Billy D. Ex-Collie Kev. I'm ex-Collie Ben, and you're ex-Collie Kev. Good morning to you. Hey, Ronald, good to see you. And Darren Lockhart's in the house. And I'm glad you love the live stream, Darren. That means a lot. Hey, Terry. Terry from New York, one of my favorite places. Hey, Jeff. Jeff Hester in the house. Hey, GP. Good to see you, buddy. Hey, Denny. A couple of my wonderful moderators along with Vibes Aquatics. And let's see. Hey, Denny. Is Mary with you? Hi, Mary, if you're there. And let's see here. R. Baglio in the house. Hey, a couple of friends there. R. Baglio, Paul Newman, Cat Sailor. Now, I got some great folks here. Now, Ronald, if you need me to speak to your boss so that you can miss work for the live stream, let me know. I'd be more than happy to let him know what's going on. Hey, Dustin. Dustin's here along with Fish Ranch and Michael Machos. Hello, my friend. And more folks are getting on. Henry Bowman in the house. Thank you for that, AV check, Henry. And Robert Sowinski, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Lady Diane in the house, first coffee, all right. First coffee chat. I'm glad you're here, Lady Diane. And Robert Egan in the house, Brian Park. Very, very good. Gaia Aquatics, Ann Pets and Robin Reiner. Very, very cool. All right, folks. More folks are getting on. And let's let the house fill up here a little bit, and we're going to get into some fun stuff today. A cool subject for which I've taken copious notes, a lot of notes here because I don't want to miss anything. Are we going to name names in today's live stream? Oh, I don't know. Some names might come up only because you bring them up, but. The purpose of this live stream is, of course, not to create trouble, but really discuss a topic that comes up every now and then. And I'll tell you what was what inspired today's topic. Today's topic was inspired by a comment that one of you made. So many of my videos are triggered or sparked or inspired by comments that you make. And this comment, somebody made a comment which was, I guess, an attempt at a compliment in a way, but it gave me pause, and it was, I think, and I'm paraphrasing the comment, but it was about one of my videos, and it said, and the best part is he wasn't trying to sell us anything. So. It's true that I do put out a lot of content and where there's nothing mentioned about, supporting the channel. And there's also a lot of content that mentions supporting the channel. So I felt, there's a sentiment out there about, and I remember John Hudson over at the KG Tropicals. He had that one live stream where I think it was called "I'm the Villain, Now I'm the Villain" or something. But it was a bit of an expressing of grievances, a little bit of a rant. But part of it, and I thought overall it came across, fairly, fair in a lot of ways. But part of it was that he obviously had some upset that people were making comments about him selling products and how that was conceived somehow as something bad. And, you know, and I've been giving it some thought, and I really, I mean, there's pluses and minuses. And I say that because, you know, I have my ways of generating revenue, and I'm gonna fully disclose all of them with you in today's live stream, and just share with you what's going on here, so you get a feel for the revenue flow of YouTube and how it works. But there's certainly pluses and minuses, and the pluses. Let's start with the positive on this. First of all, let's give it some background. A person starts a YouTube channel, and they put out content for the love of the hobby, for the love of the fish, love of the tanks. They love you know, they love crebences. They love sevrums, cichlids, whatever it is. They have a love for some aspect of the hobby. And their videos are made from that viewpoint. In the very beginning, before you're even what they call monetized, before you can even make money off your videos, really it's all a labor of love. It's all, hey, you know, check out my tank. What do you think? Do you think there's something I should do different? So it's not, money doesn't even cross your mind because you're so far away from one penny that it's not. So but let's say that there's a chemistry. Let's say that you click with an audience and it starts to build, it starts to grow. All of a sudden you hit a milestone, which I think now on YouTube, I think it's 1,000. You get 1,000 subscribers, and all of a sudden money comes into the equation. For every commercial that gets viewed, there's some money involved. And so the more clicks, the more views, the more commercials get played, the more revenue that comes in. And you get that first, you know, you usually, I think if there's a threshold you set up so that you don't get paid until you hit like $100. You get that first $100 and you go, wow, man, I'm making some money with this. This is cool. And now it shifts. It shifts a little bit, and, you know, more for some than others, but it can't help but shift a little bit from entirely for the love of the hobby to some financial reasons. Some people continue with it as a hobby, as something they do on a part-time basis. Some people jump in and become full-time content creators. And that's where there's a lot of pressure, because if you're not bringing in the money, you're not eating, you're not paying the rent, your lights are going to get cut off. So it becomes very much about the money. Now, are any of those phases better or worse? Are any of those phases particularly bad for the hobby or good for the hobby? And that's what I want to get into here. Hey, Cichlid Kings and Jerry's Fish Room in the house. I've got the best moderators in the world here, and they keep an eye on things, make sure that everything is going the way it's supposed to be going, and I appreciate them tremendously. Before we go on any further, I just want to do a quick shout out to those of you who are supporting the channel as Patreons. I don't know why that showed up right on my forehead like that, like a tattoo. But here, I'll move it over here, and the gang. This is the Garage Gang, the growing number of folks who are helping to support the channel on a monthly basis by becoming Patreon supporters, monthly supporters. Search for as little as $3 a month. The details are in the description. So thank you so much to my Patreon supporters. Also, a big shout out to the Cichlid Shack. Thank you to James for all the help he's provided me with things like tanks and fish and food and all kinds of good stuff. Big shout out to the Cichlid Shack. Use the 15% off code Shack Attack 15 for fish orders over $100, and 10% off on dry goods with Shack Attack 10. Discounts do not apply to shipping. And so just a quick shout out there, and I guess we'll do the official. Should we do the official start, even though I've started talking about the main subject? Why not? All right. So let's talk a little bit more about this. So what are the pluses of people who sell on YouTube? One of the pluses is that they're going to share with you products that you might not otherwise be aware of. I'll give you an example. I was sent a thing called algae scrubbers. Algae scrubbers are very well known in the saltwater industry, but were relatively an unknown commodity in the freshwater fish keeping community. So when I introduced, for Santa Monica filtration, when I introduced algae scrubbers, it really kind of opened up a way to control algae and nitrates by harnessing the use of algae without having it necessarily be in the aquarium. So the introducing of products and is good. Now, let's be completely honest here. When you get sent a product, especially a product that's expensive, I mean, these algae scrubbers are over $100. You get sent an uninterrupted power supply, UPS, that's $1,500 on Amazon, maybe $1,000 after discounts, whatever. Someone sends you something like that and you do a review on it. I think we all know that when you get something like that, you're already going to have a little bit of an inclination or certainly a strong desire that it turn out to be a good product. So if you're going to lean at all, you're going to lean in the direction of giving it a positive review. Now, I have done reviews in the past where they've sent me products, you know this, and I've just torn the product up because I thought it was junk. I mean, I call it honest product reviews, and I do it as honest and straightforward as I possibly can. At the same time, to say that there isn't any inclination or lean in the direction of hoping it's a good product or any bias would be disingenuous. So the plus point is you're going to be introduced to products. You're going to see product reviews by products that are being sent or sponsorships that occur. At the same time, there is going to be some bias. Now that brings me over to one of the bad sides of sellers. People who sell on YouTube very often will receive a product. They've had the product for like a minute, and they do a review on how it's the best thing in the world, when how in the world could they know that if they've had the product for a minute? They plugged it in or they dropped it into their tank and it's hallelujah and it's man, you've got to buy this and you've got to, and what you don't hear about is how 3 months later the product failed and they had to get more parts or the company had to replace it, or that one video is up there forever about how this is the best thing ever, and very, very seldom I've seen people circle back around and go, hey, remember the review I did on this product? Well, it turns out it was trash. Now, that would be very, very hard to do if you were in a contractual financial arrangement with that company. It would be really biting the hand that's feeding you. So folks that are sponsored and are getting paid in a contract type arrangement are certainly going to have and have only had the product for a minute and give a glowing review. I think those things are disingenuous, are not really helping the hobby. They're actually hawking a product that they really know very little about over a long-term basis. Now look, I'm not talking to you from some sort of sainthood pulpit. I've done it. Early on, when you first get monetized and you get some subscribers, and someone contacts you and says, I'd like to send you a product, man, you feel like hey, man, you feel amazing. It's like, whoa, yeah, hey, look, man, I've arrived. And you get that product and you're so grateful that they even noticed your channel, and you're giving it this glowing review. And so, hey, look, I think we're all guilty of it. I try and do less of it now, but it does happen. The other concern about sellers on YouTube, apart from the bias, is that because of their relationships with certain vendors, they're not necessarily going to express or communicate openly about alternatives. If I'm the U.S. representative, which I'm not, but if I was the U.S. representative for Biohome, Seacam Matrix, Marine Pure, Siporax, some sort of expensive high-end media, and those are all good products. I'm not knocking those products, and if you're using them and they're working, awesome. But if I was a rep for one of those products, and in my heart I felt like I do, that a matin sponge is one of the best medias you could use. It's inexpensive. It lasts forever. You rinse and go. I would be reluctant to share that with you, because I'm concerned that my friends at the expensive media company are going to say that I broke my contract and stopped sending me my affiliate money. And so even though I've evolved, I'm not saying everybody will evolve this way. I'm not even saying for you it's the best way, but for me, I've come to the conclusion that good quality 30 PPI, somewhere between 30, 20 PPI sponges, they just can't be beat. You can just use them in hang-on backs, and you custom cut them for your canisters. I got DIY sumps with them. At the same time, Sarah sent me some Siporax. I got sent some Matrix by mistake, thinking person thought it was carbon, but it wasn't. So I also have some traditional media in my filters as well. But if there's an alternative out there, is the person who is tied into a particular company, even though they believe in that alternative, even though they might be using that alternative in their aquarium, are they going to share it with you when they're in a contractual arrangement with a company? I don't think so. Now, some might. And again, I've mentioned some folks that sell on YouTube that I think are, I think, and again, it's my opinion, and I am, full disclosure, I am an affiliate with the Aquarium Co-op. When I put a link underneath one of my videos for an Aquarium Co-op product and you follow that link, it pays me a percentage. So let's just get that out there out front. But I think that if Corey found a product that he thought was better than something he's offering out of the co-op, I'm pretty sure, I've got a feeling that he would show it to you and he would say, man, I wish I had come up with this. And he would go ahead and go, whether you use mine or not. I just think he has that level of confidence and transparency. Now, so another plus point of people who sell on YouTube, another plus point is that you can, hold on. Well, my lazy finger fell on the screen, so you got a dropping logo again. Hope you enjoyed that. So another plus point of people who sell on YouTube is that, let's say you really like the YouTuber. You really like that YouTuber, and you want to support that YouTuber. One of the ways you can support them is to buy a product from them. There have been products that I might have been able to find cheaper, maybe on eBay or Amazon or somewhere, but I bought from a vendor because I like that vendor. I like super cichlids over in Dover, for example. Lisa, her family at Super Cichlids, love those guys, great people. And in a lot of ways, I could certainly get a lot of free food. I mean, I get sent, look at this. Plants from the co-op. Stuff I'm getting all the time. Look at this. Northfin food that I'm going to do a review on. Got about a year's worth of Northfin. So I get a lot of free stuff thrown at me. In a lot of ways, though, and there are times when I'll go ahead and buy some because I like to support those folks. And I just think it's good that we support, in particular the local fish stores in any way we can. So a good way to support these folks, that if you like the YouTuber and they sell products, that gives you an avenue that you can support them. My concern is that there'll be bias, there'll be a lack of presentation of alternatives, reviews will be slightly biased. The plus point is the presentation of reviews, often a chance to get a product for a discounted price. Sometimes you get a product for free, like in a giveaway. How much Sarah food have I sent out to people? I don't know. I'll be sending out some Northfin too, by the way, once I get all those packets sorted out. So I don't think, my final conclusion is I don't think it's a bad thing that folks are selling. I don't think there's anything wrong with channels that sell, as long as they are able to keep a perspective, a transparency, and an honesty about what they're selling, alternatives to it, and that they don't push something. For example, the idea of large water changes in the cichlid community, especially in particular African cichlids, and especially with overstocked tanks. The idea of large water changes, that's been around forever. Weekly, 80% water changes, 70. Man, those things have been around long before YouTubers that sell were around. So suggesting something like that is not in any way, in my mind, controversial or however, let's say someone comes along and they're selling some type of a water treatment, and by using their link and in the contract arrangement that they're in, they're going to make money from that. And they start pushing that the best way to get results is to do 90% water changes a week, which is going to ultimately, is probably going to end up creating a problem at some point when that person makes a mistake, or they're stressing the fish out. They're going to end up with diseases. Who knows what's going to happen? But it's going to create some chaos. From my experience, that's what I think would happen. But the person does it because every time you do a water change, you need to use their products, and that's going to result in in more sales. Or a person says that the only way you're ever going to get the right water parameters is by using 100 pounds of this particular media, and after you've given it a year to mature, and then you're going to get the best water parameters ever, and to not use this is a disservice to your fish, and blah blah blah. And again, you know my viewpoint about folks who say this is the only way in the world to do it. It's a fluid situation, right? It's a fluid situation. Now, with all that being said, let me make sure I didn't miss anything. I mean, a part of understanding what's going on is the cost of being on YouTube. Between laptops and software and editing, time spent editing videos, between lighting, water conditioners, the food that I do buy that I can't get from suppliers, and everything else, it's, I'm talking to you through a camera that's about $1,300. I got a good deal on it. I know somebody who works with Sony, blah, blah, blah. But what I'm saying is if you want quality, you want quality production, it's going to cost money. There's going to cost money. And so Robert, you're going to get some vegan food, my friend. Send me your address again, because I usually don't keep them. Send it to ben.o.cichlid. I will send you some food. Remind me what kind of fish you have. I'll try and dial it in. All right, so thank you for that super chat. So let's take a look at my situation. Just full disclosure. Full disclosure. Super chats. Thank you, Robert. I make money through super chats. YouTube takes a big chunk of it, but some of it comes to me. Monthly Patreon supporters from $3 a month on up. That generates revenue. Patreon keeps money. When people watch my videos, the commercials generate like a penny a video. Those pennies add up, right? I get hundreds of thousands of views every month. So the pennies add up. I get sent products, right? I have a Teespring store. When you buy a coffee mug, when you buy a t-shirt, I get a little bit, a couple dollars per sale. I have an Amazon affiliate link. So if you use amazon.com/shop/ben.o.chart, if you use that to get to Amazon, you have the same Amazon experience you'd have otherwise, but I get a penny for every $1,000 you buy or whatever. So I get sent lights, I get sent plants, I get sent heaters, I get sent air pumps, I get tanks, I get a lot of stuff because I built a channel. I get that stuff. And yes, I am concerned about clicks. I am concerned about views. To say that I don't look at views after I post a video, that would be a lie. I watch the views. I watch the clicks. If the video's not getting traction, I get concerned. So now in the beginning, for the love of the hobby and filming with your phone and walking around and being out of focus and being vertical when you should be horizontal and all that sort of stuff, that was probably the most fun. The most fun. Because you didn't care. You threw the video up there and, hey, look at that, 50 folks watched my video. That's awesome, And then it starts to get a little bit serious. It starts to get involved in some bucks. You have to have software to keep an eye on your on your system so that you don't get hacked. People steal YouTube channels and hack them. So I definitely am a person who, in a lot of ways, sells on YouTube. When I mention Patreon, when I mention Teespring, when I mention Amazon, my Amazon link, when we talk about super chats, it's, hey guys, help me pay the rent, man. And so for me to say that people out there who sell blanketly are doing a disservice to the hobby would be disingenuous. It would be two-faced because to a large degree, I sell. The only time I feel it's going to be bad is when products get pushed, they're sold out of fear, or the products are pushed insincerely, or a scare tactic is being used to sell a product. And it does concern me that alternatives are not going to be shared. Alternatives that could do as good or better a job, they're just simply not going to be brought up, even though the person might be aware of them, because they are in this arrangement with a company. I mean, I even get into it with my sponsor. I mean, I consider the Cichlid Shack a strong supporter and a sponsor of the channel. I consider the Aquarium Co-op a strong supporter of the channel. Does that stop me from mentioning Super Cichlids or Cunningham Cichlids or Dave's Rare Fish or other folks out there who I consider are legit? Not necessarily. Even though I might feel a loyalty and to be more regular at mentioning the other names. So what do you think? What do you think about people who sell on YouTube? I mean, there's some folks that are really hard selling the heck out. You know, it's like, but like my thumbnail. And then there's folks that are have a very light touch about it, and you might not hear about any products for many videos. They're just still putting out products to help the community. So what are your thoughts about it? I'd like to be I'd like to hear what you have to say about folks. And you know what? I'd like to hear if you think I put too many commercials in my videos. Do you think I put too many commercials in my videos? Do you think I push Patreon and subscribe and Teespring and Amazon? And do you think I push those things too much? If you do, tell me. It's very easy to kind of roll that stuff back. And but I need to know. I need to get the feedback from you, because I do not want to be that person that you think of and go, he's only about the Benjamins, pun intended. He's only about the money. And if you watch his channel, half of his channel is going to be a commercial. I don't want to become that person. And if I ever lean that way, I count on you to call me out and say, hey, Ben, that was a little heavy on the commercials, man. I mean, come on. Every 3 minutes? Really? I don't think I've ever done every 3 minutes, but at any rate, did I get everything? Did I share everything? Did I disclose everything? Let me know what you think, folks, because this is a topic that comes up. And when somebody said, at least he wasn't selling us anything, I really don't want you folks to have hard feelings or about the folks out there who are putting out quality content and are also selling things, because there are a lot of good folks out there that are doing that. And I'm not going to mention names. So, well, not too many names anyway. Hey, I mentioned in the description under this video that I wanted to share with you some new fish. So let's take a little break, refill your coffee, and let me show you a couple new pickups and what's going on around here. And this is sort of a preview of what's going to be released as a fish room lab next week. And then after this, we'll go ahead and jump into some of your comments and your questions. We will go ahead and open up the chat. Okay, so enjoy this short little video I prepared for you this morning. Hello friends, let's go ahead and do a very quick update on the fish room. I got a few cool things going on. I want to share them with you. Let's go ahead and get into it. And we will go ahead and nothing's really changed here in the 210, so not much to report there. But over here in the 55, as mentioned in my my third and final installment of the black algae video, I have brought over the Anubias that was in that experiment. So this batch here, mixed in with a little bit of Java fern that was already in the tank, and this piece of Anubias on this end. I think it really helps the tank look a lot better overall. Definitely gives it some more green. So this plant is rocking and rolling. The little autos are loving it. These, I've decided that these Buenos Aires tetras, as much as I like them, I'm probably going to go ahead and swap them out, take them over to the, there's the biggest one there probably, take them over to the aquatic critter and just get a credit. And what I'll end up doing, there's one of the little autos on a plant there, very cute. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace them with a fish that I picked up. Here's the 90. Fish are looking good here. The electric blue Ochart has been a little bit lethargic. I'm hoping he's not getting to the end of his life. He was a pretty old fish when I picked him up, but I'll keep trying to tempt him with food and see if he starts eating. He's just been avoiding food, so I'll just work on that a little bit. But over here in the 29, the plant that was getting nibbled on by the Buenos Aires tetras has been brought over here to recover. So I'm hoping it'll grow back. I like that plant. It's not an Anubias, but it does have a sort of a rhizome sort of setup. Doesn't need to be in the substrate. And what I have in this tank are 5 additional neon tetras that I'm going to be adding to the 55 gallon. There's a little bit of zucchini floating around, but I have the neon tetras, which are looking really good, and I picked up some of these little red tail rasboras. Very different shape from a traditional rasbora, but I love that they're very active. A little more light there. Very active. They're going after food like crazy, and I love the colors on them, and I think eventually as they get older they'll get a bit of a red tail, which will be very pretty. They have a little bit of a neon green stripe in the body. They do school a little bit, but they are a little bit startled by me standing here in front of the tank. Very good eaters. They really attack the food a little more than the normal rasboras. I was messing with this tank, so there's a lot of stuff floating around in here. But I've got a new almond leaf in there, and the Sprite, which is the hideout for the fry. But all the live bearers are just rocking and rolling. Little Dumbo Betta playing on that almond leaf. Very cute. Here's the red guy. Call him Candy. Reminds me of candy colors. This one's just getting spectacular, getting a little bit of green in the body, some pink. Oh, there's the pleco. You never see the pleco in this tank. There he is on that plant. There are some coolie loaches in here, but they're always hiding underneath this wood. Hardly ever see them. .300's doing great. You'll see that during the live stream. It'll be the background. You can see all the fish, all the colors. I'm hoping to get some more cichlids from the cichlid shack. I'd like to add another 5 or so to this tank. I think it could handle it very easily. My covering up the breeding areas has worked out well. It's calmed the tank down quite a bit. All right, I got to finish getting this all ready for the for today's live stream. So I need to get rocking and rolling. I'll just leave you with the 210, which is everybody in here is just doing great, waiting for me to feed them. And like I normally do in my live streams, I'll probably show you the fish again. It looks like the power head is running. I have a, not power head, but wave maker. This wave maker is about 3,500 gallons per hour, 3,700 gallons per hour. Very powerful. And it just helps to move things towards the intake of the filters, the Sun 704B and the sump intakes. So this is why you see so much moving around in here. I've also been giving these guys some zucchini as well. So you might see some zucchini fragments flying around. A little bit of sad news. The Autopharynx tetrastigma finally died after quite a long struggle. I still have an insignis in here that I'm treating with salt and fresh water, and seems to be coming along, but not sure if he's gonna ultimately make it, only because of just how aged he is. Silver dollars are growing like weeds. Love the look of the red spotted Severum, and of course the Geos are always rocking and rolling. All right, so that's the update. That's the walk, this week's fish room walkthrough, and just want to give you a very quick update on what's going on, along with the new fish, movement in the plants, things of that nature. But any comments, certainly share them below, and thank you so much for watching. All right, so there was a walkthrough. I hope you enjoyed that, and we can go ahead and get into some of your comments and your questions. A bubble off. I have not seen a bubble off before. Welcome to the live stream. A bubble off. Love that name. Learn to use pot scrubbers on Half Man Half Cichlid. Doesn't ask for super chats or Patreon. Love your channel. Good information out there without pushing money or sales on the channel. You know, Half Man Half Cichlid to me is one of the mysteries of YouTube. He's got he's developed over the years. He went from what I thought was one of the nicest cichlid tanks in the world. I think he got tired of cichlid aggression, got into geos and South American fish, and has a 500-gallon acrylic boat tank with a 100-gallon sump, and he's just doing a lot of great stuff. Has always been doing great projects, aquaponics, things of that nature. And his channel hasn't blown up. I don't know why. I don't know what's going on. But he's just, to me, he's just a little bit of a mystery, because he was at this way before me. One of the channels I would go to regularly. I mean, back in the beginning, it was Half Man, Half Cichlid, Jay Wilson, KG Tropicals when he had a shop, up where he used to live before, and who else were the big ones back then? I mean, this is even before. I mean, KG or the King of DIY. I mean, these were like the original, the OGs, right? So at any rate, yeah, I think that Half Man, Half Cichlid has a lot to offer. Check his channel out if you can. Let's see here. I'm going to check out your questions. I'm going to scroll back a little bit in the chat. Go back and look at some areas that you might not necessarily be seeing in the chat at the moment. As a matter of fact, I'll put the current chat on the screen. You can have 15 seconds of fame, and your name will be in a video for the rest of eternity, or at least as long as YouTube's around. But let's see here. And Robert Egan, yeah, I did say thank you for that super chat. Thank you so much for that. I am scrolling the chat. Jerry's Fish Room, large fish channels. The large fish channels of the world pretty much own the market, and you guy, for the most part, won't get there. It's interesting you say that, Jerry. I mean, I remember the King of DIY when he hit 1 million subscribers. He talked about how he didn't think that would ever happen again because of the timing. You know, where he was on YouTube when he got there, and a combination of factors, and how he really felt it would be very difficult, if not impossible, for a channel to reach 1 million in this limited niche market. He didn't think it would happen again. That was just sort of his opinion. But then you see channels growing out there. I mean, look at the jump that KG Tropicals took after that leave of absence that John and Lisa took. Look at the growth that the Aquarium Co-op has been experiencing and continues to experience. There is still a lot of growth going on out there. And are we going to see million subscriber channels? I don't know. I don't know if that's if someone were to start today in the fish community, how long would it take them to get up to them? They'd have to have something extremely innovative. You know, I don't know. Give away an OAS or an FX6 canister or a aquarium sump system with every video. You can buy views. You can buy views. I think there was a channel a while back who I think is no longer around, or is producing on a very limited basis. I think it was a husband and wife team, and I don't think they're on YouTube anymore. At least not that free. But I think they were busted for buying views. There were companies that you'd pay them a certain amount of money, and they would give you subscribers and views. You would buy them, and so it's like cheating at solitaire. You know, you're on the computer and you're playing solitaire, and you got a deck of cards out, and you're cheating at solitaire. Why would you? Where's the fun in that? So, all right, let's see here. Let's look at this chat and see what we got going on here. All right, let's see here. Yeah, there's some concern about that Lacey Act, and it seems like it's targeting Florida because Florida is such a hotbed for invasive species. So it just also happens to be the place where the bulk of the fish farms that service our hobby are located. So this could be devastating. So definitely sign the petitions. I think Jerry had a petition. Jerry, if you want to share that petition on the chat and certainly in the comment under my video, you are welcome to. And certainly you can share it at the ben.o.cichlid Facebook group. Share that petition. Robert Egan, the unmentioned. If you have a channel at our age, the channel keeps you busy with meaningful purpose in life. Yeah, you're right. I'm retired. I'm technically retired, living on Social Security, and this activity, this interaction with you folks, is very meaningful. And working on my tanks is very therapeutic, very mentally engaging and challenging, which I think is very important when you get older. I just read about a study. They did a study on longevity and overall satisfaction in life. And it wasn't cholesterol levels, blood pressure, not that those things have nothing to do with it, but it wasn't the things that you would think of that gave meaning to life. Guess what it was? What was the number one thing that gave these folks, that gave the happier people a sense of joy and satisfaction? It was connections. It was people. Connections and people and interaction with other people. This explains why there was such a high rate of difficult depression and suicide during COVID, where so many people were isolated from people they love and people in general. So, it makes a lot of sense. Michael Espinosa in the house. Straight talk. I appreciate you, Ben. Thank you, Michael. Oh, Miguel. I'm sorry. I'm calling you Michael. That's my son-in-law. Miguel Espinosa. Thank you, Miguel. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm telling you, sponges, they're catching on. I just saw a video by Joey, the king of DIY, where he created an aquarium by just simply putting a wall of a sponge in the, like a few inches, maybe 4 or 5 inches from the end of the tank, and then putting a pipe to take water up from that area and dump it back in. Very simple DIY project done with a matten sponge, I believe 30 PPI, I think, but extremely simple and very, very effective and will last forever. All right, so any questions, go ahead and hit me with them now as we come into the 1 hour mark. And certainly let me know in the comments your thoughts about people who sell on YouTube. Do you think it waters down the channel? Do you think it's a plus? Do you think it's a minus? Do you think there are ways of balancing it out? And even though I'm not going to get too much into names, let me know in the comments, who do you like? And for that matter, who do you not like and why? Who sell on YouTube? I'd be just as a survey, without ranting or bad mouthing or ragging on anybody. Just let me know as a general consensus in the YouTube fish keeping community. Who do you admire? Who do you like? Who are your favorites? And who do you necessarily don't follow anymore, and why? I'd be curious to find out. And always be learning. Lady Deanne, you want to send me a half dozen angelfish, or you talking to somebody else? Angelfish are not angels. I'd be concerned about putting them in my in my community tank. The as it is, I'm taking out those Buenos Aires tetras, and I'm going to be replacing them with those red-tailed rasboras and the and five more neons. So I'm going to have a total of 15 neon tetras in there. So any rate, yeah, I love angelfish though. Boy, do I love koi angels and I mean, they're black lace angels. Oh my goodness, when they get big, unbelievable how beautiful they are. So scrolling the chat. I'm scrolling the chat. Peace and haps forever. I hate to hear that about your wife, and I really hope that she recovers as much as possible, and I'm sure you're doing a great job taking care of her. That's a difficult situation. Blue Avatar Angels. Sounds beautiful. Love these names. All right, I'm going to keep looking at the chat, but I'm going to go to the main screen, the full screen, and Cat Sailor, I can vouch for the meanness of angels. Yeah, it's funny how they're named like that. Other fish give you a warning, you know, green tear. Jack Dempsey, a championship boxer that beat the daylights out of many, many opponents. Yeah, red tear. I mean, they give you a warning in the name. Angel? Oh, look, a sweet angel. Next morning, all your neons are dead. Oh, it's probably not that dramatic. All right. Cichlid Brothers, Robert Egan, one of my favorite channels, the Cichlid Brothers. They do a great job. They keep aquariums in classrooms, just like Fishy Biz, introducing students and kids to the fish keeping hobby, which I think is awesome. Select Pet, I don't see in the fish community, but other communities seems push the super chats. Yeah, you know, I mentioned the super chats. I know the moderators sometimes will mention a super chat or thank a super chat. It's available. You see the $ down there. If you want to do it, do it. A lot of ways to help the channel. I covered all of them. So, Eyebiter? Terry, why are you mentioning Eyebiter? Is it because of the name Eyebiter? That's true. It could be a warning, even though I've never had an eyebiter that I think bit eyes of other fish. But it does. It is a scary name, an eyebiter. You know. There was a chiropractor in, I believe, in California. His last name was actually Bonebreaker. Bonebreaker, spelled exactly the way it sounds. And yet he was very successful. So Primetime Aquatics, one of my favorite channels. You know, Jason and his wife do a wonderful job. They show up at local shows. They bring fish, and they are an asset to the community, just like I think in a lot of ways Corey is as well. Mr. Sardine. Is that really your name, Sardine? I'm sure there are people with Sardine as a last name, but I think for YouTube, I think that's fine. Favorites are LRB. I had a live stream with LRB, like it. Secret History, just got into Secret History. Steinford is great, laid back, great guy. Doesn't push stuff in your face, but he does sell fish. Very laid back dude. I like him. Co-op, of course. Yep, those are some of my favorites too. Yeah, you know, ex-Kali, Kev, I haven't seen the interview of Joey and Alex, Secret History, Living in Your Aquarium. I have heard several people mention that it went a little bit south. And anyway, I really haven't seen it, so I really can't comment on it. Peas and Haps Forever. KG, Rico Stan, great channels, and be sure to follow Jerry's Fish Room, one of our very own moderators. I will be spending some quality time with Jerry at Aquashella in November. I'm going to be couch surfing, or I think he might even have an extra bedroom for me. I'll be staying there, and maybe we'll even do a little maybe Jerry, maybe we'll do a stream from your house, and that would be kind of fun. But we'll see. We'll got to talk more about that before I make my final flight arrangements. Someone had a Scion mouth? Scion mouth? Am I pronouncing that? My brother-in-law's nickname was Bone Breaker. He worked with concrete. There you go. I thought you were going to say he was a linebacker on a football team or something. That would be a great nickname for a linebacker. Robert Egan, wish we would start at 10 a.m. I thought about that. I mean, that puts us at 8 a.m. on the west, and those folks out west, they don't like getting up that early. It was a real problem for a lot of them. So, all right, you can always catch the live. I prefer that you're here for the live stream, but you can always catch the replay. But I'd much rather have you here, actually. Extra bedroom. Thank you, Jerry. And I hope you have earplugs, because my wife says I snore like a bear. So. Many a morning I wake up and my wife is in one of the guest bedrooms because she gave up. All right. So, yes, definitely check in Jerry's Fish Room. And Jerry, I hope that green tear makes a spontaneous recovery. So that's it for now, my friends. I appreciate you very much. Thank you for sitting in. And I hope you enjoyed this live stream. And I will see you next week at the same time. And watch for some upcoming videos. I'll be doing a review of Northfin, probably giving away some Northfin packets and food. And I'm also going to do a video, and the title of that video is Just Stop. That's the title of the video. I'm going to leave you with that mystery. Thank you, my friends, for tuning in. You are the best. You rock. Anything I say, remember, take it with a grain of salt. Fish keeping is a fluid situation, and what works for one fish keeper might not work for another. Always keep that in mind. So that's it for me. Thank you, my friends. I'll see you next week. You are the best. You rock. Thank you so much for being there. Thank you, moderators, super chatters, people who gave it a thumbs up. Bye for now.